Okay, in this tutorial we're going to look at the coffee pot again. We're going to look at creating the handle. We're going to do it in the same way as the spout, but there are going to be a few more problems. Okay. From the last tutorial, I've actually gone ahead and I've changed the spout a little bit. I've actually deleted some of these control curves on the, well, not the control curves, the actual CV curves there, the original curves. So you can actually delete these and it kind of maintains the shape. Okay, let's bring that back. So the handle, let's go in and go into our 4 viewports. I'm going to go into this front view, and looks like that's slightly off center for some reason on this. Anyway, I'll deal with that later. And see, this is twisted on this. I don't know why. Let's try grabbing all of those. Okay. Good enough for now. So in this view, we're going to create a NURBS primitive and a circle. We're going to create it at the root. So let's just scale this up so we can see it. R. Yeah. And we can rotate it on the x-axis. Again, look down here. So let's rotate this on the X at 90 degrees. And let's pull this out. And up. So I'll have to be careful here that I'm actually getting the right looks central to all of that. Okay. So I want this quite near the top of this. Bring it in a bit closer so I can see. And what I may even do with this is just be careful, but okay. In fact, just before I do that rotation, just going to go into, a bit tricky to see. Just right click and go into control vertex points. I'm going to flatten. Top. It's really tricky to see. In fact, let me just. For some reason this is locked in. There we go. I'm going to bring this up here just so it's easy to see for a second. Right click on this, control vertex points. I wanted to play. And then I'm going to flatten this whole thing down a little more. Maybe flatten this. Bring that out. Again, let's bring this down. Let's put this in the right place. You're going to think that it's projecting onto the surface around there. I'm not going to rotate it actually. Let's just drag it in a little bit. And then I'm going to Control D this, duplicate it, bring this down. This I'm just going to scale up. Again, I may just move this down so I can see this a bit better. I want to rotate this round. I'm going to press J to angle snap this. And let's bring this back up. Thinking where I want this to be. Okay. So we've got our two curves there finally. Go into object mode. So my surface is switched off here. So let's grab this, and let's grab this and this. So we can do them both at the same time. In my surfaces module, project curve on surface. Now we're doing it from the wrong viewport. You can see the problem there. If we just rotate around this, there we go. So let's undo that. And in fact, let's go in our front view and project curve on surface. Okay. We need to delete the ones on this side. So let's just grab this, delete. Let's grab that, delete. Let's grab these two just quickly. Let's pull these back. Might make this one a little bit smaller. So the nice thing about this is you can see the curve actually on the surface there. And it makes it much easier to edit it. I'm going to scale this. And I'm pretty much the same size. Okay. So now we can grab this and we can go to our Edit NURBS trim tool. Let's just go in and grab any point. I always forget you can't drag select around, just have to click on them. Any point, and then just press enter. So we now have our trimmed surfaces. There we go. Remember, you still can, so desire, manipulate these, but no, I'm quite happy with those. Oh, one thing up here actually, you can see this is cutting through this point as well. I'm just going to do this a couple of steps. Okay. Let's just bring this down a little bit. So we can just project this curve just a bit down first. Oops. About there. So let's grab this trim tool, one of our points, press enter. That's better. Now I wonder if I can. No, it does cut into it. Well, that makes quite an interesting pattern there. Yeah, I kind of like that. But not at the front. Shall we go back from our trim? No, I'm going to leave it there. It doesn't cut through the front on that point. So you just got to be careful where this is cutting through on there. Let's bring that down. About there. The most we can go. Okay. So now we have our trim surfaces. We need to get our trim edges. So right click, trim edge. To do this one first. I'm going to go into edit curves and we're going to duplicate surface curves. Let's just call this handle top, and let's just denote what this is, which is a curve. And let's do the same with this one down here. While we're here, trim edge, duplicate surface curves, and then let's just name this CRV, and let's call this handle bottom. So there are two curves now. To make it a bit easier, I'm just going to go to modify and center my pivot on this, and you can see there, that's our curve. Same thing with this. Let's grab this, make sure we're on the right one. Let's grab that one, modify, center pivot. Okay. So we can start creating the curves for the loft now. So let's grab this one. Let's Control D. Let's move this out. Let's just look at my side view here. So going up a little bit, I think. Maybe just starting to rotate round. Control D. Make sure I'm just doing it in this view. And in fact, what I may do now is actually switch my just go in, just get my image plane, go down into my visibility and just set this to 0. Just makes it a bit easier to work with there. And let's go back into my 4-panel layout. There we go, much better. I'm going to delete this because I've just lost track of where I was with these. So let's grab that one. Control D. Way too far out. Control D. Control D. So looking where this needs to start going here. Just coming to this final point here. Maybe even bring this a little bit closer. Okay, that'll do for now. Still think it's a little far out, probably a little big, but just to show you how this is going to go. So let's now grab these curves. So from the top, shift click as we did with the spout through each of these, and finally I'm going to click on this point, and let's go surfaces, loft. Yeah, as I thought, it's just far too big, but obviously we can go in and fix that. We can go into these, just switch this off so we can so we can't select the surface. Let's grab some of these now, let's just scale these down. And obviously we could spend more time doing this. There we go. Okay. So that's our handle. So we have our handle there and our spout. Remember, if you want to change any of these, we can just change the control curves. We could go into the actual surface and play around with the isopalms, play around with the CVs there. Lots more we can do with this. But that's the handle on the coffee pot. Obviously the top lid is just another revolve, easy enough to do using a guide, but that's the end of this tutorial.